You ever notice how hard it is to have peace when you know you're not being honest with yourself? Not honest with other people. With yourself. Because you can fool everybody else. You can say you're fine. You can say you don't care. You can say, that's just who I am. You can say, I did everything I could. But when it gets quiet, there's a part of you that always knows. It knows when you tried. It knows when you hid. It knows when you gave honest effort. And it knows when you used a good excuse to avoid a hard truth. And maybe that is why peace feels so far away. Not because life is unfinished, but because deep down, you know there is something you still haven't told yourself the truth about. Everybody says they want peace. I just want peace. I'm protecting my peace. I don't want drama. I'm done with all that. And sometimes, that is real. Sometimes peace really does mean walking away. Sometimes peace means not answering the phone. Sometimes peace means letting people think whatever they want. But sometimes, when you say you want peace, what you really mean is, I want this to stop hurting. I want this to make sense. I want to stop feeling guilty. I want to stop wondering if I could have done more. And that's where it gets hard. Because peace is not always about getting answers. Sometimes peace is about finally sitting with the answer you already have. A lot of people think peace comes after everything is fixed. After the conversation happens. After the apology comes. After the situation makes sense. After the person understands you. After life finally gives you a reason. But be honest. How many times have you fixed one thing, and your mind just found another thing to worry about? You solve one problem, then there's another one. You fix one part of your life, then you start looking for the next thing that needs fixing. And before you know it, nothing is allowed to just be. Your relationship becomes a project. Your body becomes a project. Your future becomes a project. Your healing becomes a project. Even your peace becomes a project. And that's exhausting, because now you're not living. You're just repairing, over and over again. And sometimes, the thing you keep trying to fix is not broken. Sometimes you are just uncomfortable with not being in control. But peace is not control. Peace is not life finally obeying you. Peace is not people acting exactly how you hoped. Peace is not understanding everything before you move forward. Peace is something quieter than that. Peace is when you can say, I don't have all the answers. And I may never have all the answers. But I know what I gave. I know what I tried. I know where I fell short. And I know what was never fully mine to carry. That kind of peace does not come from winning. It comes from honesty. Because you can lose something and still have peace. You can be hurt and still have peace. You cannot understand why it happened and still have peace. But you cannot lie to yourself every day and expect your soul to rest. There is a difference between perfect effort and honest effort. Perfect effort is impossible. Perfect effort says, you should have done more. You should have known better. You should have handled it better. You should have seen it coming. But you are human. Your best does not look the same every day. Some days you have energy. Some days you are tired. Some days you are scared. Some days you are carrying pain that nobody else can see. So peace cannot come from perfect effort. It has to come from honest effort. Honest effort says, I know what I had in me, and I gave what I could. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, not in a way everybody understood, but honestly. And when you know you gave honest effort, you can survive the outcome not going your way. Because at least you know you did not abandon yourself. But here is the part nobody likes. You know when you didn't try. You know when you were lazy. You know when you were scared. You know when you were using the situation as an excuse. You know when you said, that's just who I am. But really, you meant, I don't want to change. And that truth does not go away just because you explain it well. You can dress an excuse up in beautiful words. You can call it peace. You can call it healing. You can call it boundaries. You can call it protecting your energy. But if deep down you know you are lying to yourself, it will not feel like peace. It will feel like noise, quiet noise, the kind nobody hears but you, the kind that follows you into bed, the kind that shows up when there is nothing left to distract you. That is why some people are never at peace. Not because their life is harder than everybody else's, but because they keep arguing with the truth inside them. But then there is the other side. Sometimes the voice inside you is not telling the truth. Sometimes it is just punishing you. Sometimes guilt feels like honesty, but it is really shame. Sometimes blame feels like truth, but it is really control. Because blaming yourself can feel powerful. It hurts, but it gives your mind something to hold. It says, if this was all my fault, then maybe I could have stopped it. And that can feel safer than admitting the truth. That some things were bigger than you. That some people still choose what they choose. That some endings still happen, even when you tried. And that is hard to accept, because it means you were not in control of the whole story. But peace does not come from carrying the whole tragedy. Peace comes from owning your part, without making yourself pay for everything that happened. You can admit where you were wrong. You can grow. You can change. You can learn. But you do not have to suffer forever just because something hurt. Pain and suffering are not the same thing. Pain happens. Pain can come from loving someone. Pain can come from being vulnerable. Pain can come from telling the truth. Pain can come from letting go. But suffering is different. Suffering is when you keep feeding the pain. When you keep holding on to something that keeps hurting you. When you keep trying to save something that is slowly making you disappear. And the hard part is, you don't always know it while you are still inside it. When you are in it, it feels confusing. You think you are being loyal. You think you are trying harder. You think you are proving love. You think you are fighting for something meaningful. But sometimes, you are not fighting for love. Sometimes you are fighting to keep an old version of your life alive. And you may not see that clearly until you are out. Until the noise gets lower, until your body calms down, until you finally have enough space to ask yourself, was this growing me, or was it erasing me? So maybe peace is not having all the answers. Maybe peace is not getting the apology. Maybe peace is not proving your side. Maybe peace is not making life make sense. Maybe peace is being able to sit in the dark with yourself and not run from what you know. To say, I tried, or I didn't try, and I need to be honest about that. To say, that part was mine, and that part was not. To say, I was hurt, but I do not have to turn that hurt into a life sentence. That is peace. Not pretending, not performing, not winning, just telling yourself the truth without destroying yourself with it. Because there is a part of you that knows. It knows when you are hiding. It knows when you are healing. It knows when you are blaming yourself just to feel in control. And it knows when you are finally ready to stop carrying what was never fully yours. So maybe peace does not start when life finally gives you the answer. Maybe peace starts when you stop lying to yourself about the answer you already have.